They say the most dangerous place for a man isn't a war zone or a dark alley. It's his own living room, sitting across from a woman who has decided to destroy him. You think you know fear? Fear isn't a gun pointed at your head. Fear is watching the person you sleep next to painting a fake bruise on her cheek in the bathroom mirror, preparing to tell the world that you did it. My name is Thomas. I'm a high school history teacher. I'm a boring guy. I like old books, I coach the chess club, and I've never thrown a punch in my life. I've been married to Rebecca for 8 years. We have a 6-year-old daughter named Lily. Lily is my universe, and Rebecca, well, Rebecca was the sun that universe revolved around, or so I thought. Rebecca was always dramatic, emotional, but lately she had become hostile, cold. She would pick fights over nothing. If I left a spoon in the sink, she would scream for an hour. If I came home 5 minutes late, she would accuse me of having an affair. It felt like she was trying to provoke me, like she was begging me to snap. But I never did. I'm a pacifist. I would just apologize and retreat to my study. The nightmare began on a Friday night. I came home early from a faculty meeting. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Lily was at her grandmother's house for the weekend. I walked upstairs to our bedroom. The door was cracked open. I heard Rebecca talking on the phone. Her voice was low, breathless, not the angry voice she used with me. It was the voice of a lover. "He's so pathetic, Mark. I screamed at him for 20 minutes this morning, and he just sat there drinking his coffee. He won't fight back." A deep male voice laughed on the other end. It was on speakerphone. "Don't worry, babe. We just need one incident, just one 911 call where you sound scared. Once I get the dispatch, I'll be the responding officer. I'll arrest him, book him, and put a restraining order on him before he can blink. You get the house, the kid, and full custody." I froze. My blood turned to ice water. Mark. I knew who Mark was. Officer Mark Reynolds. He was a local cop, a guy we saw at BBQs in the neighborhood, a guy with a reputation for being aggressive, tough on crime. My wife wasn't just sleeping with a cop, she was plotting with him to frame me for domestic abuse. "I know," Rebecca said, applying something to her face in the mirror. "I'm working on the visuals right now. Purple eyeshadow mixed with a little yellow. It looks like a 3-day-old contusion. If he doesn't hit me, I'll just say he pushed me down the stairs. Who are they going to believe, the crying mother or the husband?" "They'll believe the police report I write," Mark said. "Just give me the signal. Tonight?" "Maybe," she said. "Let's see if I can get him angry enough." I backed away from the door. My heart was pounding so hard I thought they would hear it. I retreated downstairs, silently, and went out the back door. I sat in my car in the driveway for 10 minutes, just breathing. If I walked in there and confronted her, she would scream. She would call 911. Mark would arrive. I would be in handcuffs within 10 minutes. My career as a teacher would be over. An accusation alone destroys you in my field. I would lose Lily. I realized with terrifying clarity I was in a cage, and the key was in the pocket of a corrupt police officer. I needed a plan, and I needed it fast. I walked back into the house, pretending I had just arrived. "Honey, I'm home," I called out, forcing a cheerful tone. Rebecca came down the stairs. She was wearing a high-necked sweater. "You're late," she snapped. "Sorry, traffic," I said. I looked at her face. The makeup was subtle, but I saw it. A faint bruise on her cheekbone hidden by her hair. She was prepping the canvas. For the next week, I lived in a minefield. Every conversation was a trap. She would start arguments while holding her phone, clearly recording audio. "Why are you yelling at me, Thomas?" she would shout, even though I was whispering. "I'm not yelling, Rebecca," I would say calmly, looking directly at her phone. "I'm asking if you want pasta for dinner." She was trying to build an audio library of me sounding aggressive. I counted it by becoming the most boring, passive man on earth. I essentially stopped speaking. But I knew I couldn't keep this up forever. Eventually, she would just fake the attack. She would throw herself down the stairs and dial 911. I needed eyes. I waited until she went to meet Mark for lunch. I took a sick day from school.
I went to a spy shop 3 towns over. I paid cash. I bought 5 pinhole cameras, high definition, motion activated, cloud storage. I hid them everywhere. One in the kitchen, inside a smoke detector, one in the living room behind a bookshelf, one in the hallway, and most importantly, 2 in the master bedroom. I also bought a high-end voice recorder which I taped to the underside of the dining room table. That night, the surveillance paid off. I watched the live feed from my phone while I was grading papers in my study. Rebecca was in the kitchen, talking to Mark again. "He's stonewalling me, Mark. He won't fight. It's annoying. Just escalate it. Break something of his. Hurt yourself a little. A real scratch looks better than a painted one. We need this done before the custody hearing next month." Then she said something that made me sick. "I just want him gone. I want him out of the house so you can move in. Lily likes you more anyway." Lily, my daughter. They were planning to replace me. I saved the video file. I backed it up to 3 different cloud servers and a physical hard drive I buried in the backyard. But video of them talking wasn't enough. It proved conspiracy, sure, but in a he said, she said situation involving a cop, evidence has a way of disappearing. Mark could claim the video was deepfaked. He could destroy my phone during the arrest. I needed a witness, someone untouchable. I needed internal affairs. But you can't just call IA on a cop without hard proof. The blue wall of silence is real. Cops protect cops. If I reported Mark to his station, his buddies would tip him off, and I'd be dead or arrested within the hour. I had to go higher, the state police. But before I did that, I needed to make sure Rebecca couldn't play the victim card ever again. I started digging into her past. Rebecca told me she was an orphan, that she had no family. I hired a private investigator to check that. It turns out Rebecca lied a lot of things. She wasn't an orphan. She had an ex-husband in Ohio, a man named David. I found David's number. I called him from a burner phone. "David, my name is Thomas. I'm married to Rebecca." Silence on the line. Then a heavy sigh. "Is she doing the bruise thing?" David asked. My grip on the phone tightened. "Yes. She did it to me 10 years ago," David said, his voice trembling. "She painted bruises, called the cops. I spent 6 months in jail, lost my job. It's her playbook, man. She finds a guy, uses him, then destroys him to cash out." "David," I said, "I need you to testify, or at least write an affidavit." "I'll do better," David said. "I have the emails where she admitted she faked it to her sister. I saved everything. I've been waiting for her to do it again." I had the ammo. Now I needed to trigger the trap. I knew they were planning the event on Saturday night. Lily was at a sleepover. It was just me and Rebecca. I heard Mark's voice on the hidden mic earlier that day. "I'm on patrol tonight, 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. I'll be in the sector. Do it around 10 p.m. I'll be the first responder." I prepared myself. At 9:30 p.m., I went into the living room. I sat down on the sofa and opened a book. I looked calm, but underneath my shirt I was wearing a wire, and I had a live stream running from my phone, broadcasting privately to my lawyer's cloud server. Rebecca walked in. She had been drinking wine to work up the nerve. She wasn't wearing makeup bruises this time. She was holding a heavy glass vase. "I want a divorce, Thomas," she said, standing over me. "Okay," I said, not looking up. "We can discuss that with lawyers." "No!" she screamed. She threw the vase on the floor. It shattered. Crash! "You threw that at me!" she yelled, looking at the empty room, performing for the 911 call she was about to make. "I'm sitting on the couch, Rebecca," I said calmly. She grabbed a shard of glass. She looked at me with wild eyes. "You're going to hit me, Thomas. You're going to hurt me so bad." She took the glass shard and sliced her own arm. Blood started to drip. Then she ripped her shirt. She punched herself in the face hard. I heard the impact. It was horrifying to watch. She was a monster. She pulled out her phone and dialed 911. "Help! My husband! He's killing me! He has a knife! He's crazy! Send help!" She screamed like she was being murdered. Then she hung up and looked at me. Her face was bleeding, her shirt torn. "Mark is 3 minutes away," she hissed. "You're finished, Thomas. Enjoy prison." I didn't move. I didn't run. I waited. 3 minutes later, sirens. Not just one car, two. Mark had called for backup to make it look legit. The door burst open. Mark kicked it in, gun drawn. Police, get on the ground. Show me your hands. I slowly raised my hands. I am unarmed. I am sitting down. Mark rushed me. He didn't just cuff me. He slammed my face into the coffee table. You scumbag, he yelled, performing for his body cam, which I hoped was on. You beat her up, he yelled, performing for his body cam, which I hoped was on. You beat her up, he yelled, performing for his body cam, which I hoped was on. Rebecca was sobbing in the corner. He went crazy, Mark. Thank God you're here. Mark dragged me up. You're under arrest for domestic battery, assault with a deadly weapon, and attempted murder. He leaned close to my ear, whispering
so only I could hear. I told you I'd take care of it. Have fun in the cage, teacher. They dragged me out to the squad car. The neighbors were watching. I saw the look of disgust in their eyes. Rebecca was being treated by EMTs, playing the victim perfectly. I sat in the back of the cruiser. I didn't say a word. I knew something they didn't. I wasn't just relying on my hidden cameras. I had sent the live link to someone else. They took me to the station. They booked me. They threw me in a holding cell. Mark came by an hour later to gloat. She's pressing charges, he smiled. The DA is going to eat you alive. You'll never see your kid again. Mark, I said quietly, did you check the smoke detector in the kitchen? He frowned. What? Or the bookshelf in the living room? Or the motion sensor in the bedroom? His smile faded. What are you talking about? I have 5 cameras in that house, Mark. Cloud storage, real-time backup. And I have audio of you two planning this for 3 weeks, including the call where you told her to hurt herself. He laughed nervously. You're lying. Even if you have it, I'll delete it. I'll get a warrant to seize your electronics. Too late, I said. I didn't just save it. I live-streamed it. To who? He sneered. Your mommy? The door to the holding area opened. The captain of the precinct walked in. Behind him were 2 men in suits, state police internal affairs, and behind them was my lawyer. Officer Reynolds, the captain said, his voice shaking with rage, surrender your badge and your weapon, now. Mark looked at the captain, then at me. His face went pale white. Captain, this guy beat his wife. I saw the blood. We saw the video, Reynolds, one of the suits said. We saw her cut herself, and we heard you whisper, have fun in the cage, to the suspect. Your body cam mic picked it up. Mark tried to argue, but they were already cuffing him. The blue wall doesn't protect you when you get caught on 4K video, framing an innocent man in a way that could get the department sued for millions. They released me immediately. The state police drove me back to my house to collect my things. Rebecca was there. She thought she had won. She was drinking wine, probably waiting for Mark to come back. When she saw the police lights, she opened the door smiling. Then she saw me get out of the car, uncuffed, and she saw Mark in the back of the other car, cuffed. The look on her face, it wasn't fear. It was a system crash. She couldn't process it. The officers arrested her on the spot, filing a false police report, conspiracy, perjury, and child endangerment. David, her ex-husband from Ohio, flew in to testify at the trial. His evidence, combined with my videos, buried her. Rebecca got 5 years in prison. Mark got 10 years because he abused his power as a police officer. I got full custody of Lily. We moved to a different state. I still teach history, but I'm different now. I don't trust easily. I check the smoke detectors in every room I enter, not for fire, but for cameras. And sometimes, when I see a police car drive by, I don't feel safe. I feel a shiver down my spine, because I know that sometimes the badge is just a costume for a criminal, and the person crying wolf might just be the wolf themselves. If you are ever falsely accused, don't argue, don't fight, record. Documentation beats conversation every single time. Thank you for listening.
This story is a reminder that the truth doesn't always win on its own. You have to fight for it. If this story kept you on the edge of your seat, please like and subscribe. I post new stories every week about the dark side of human nature. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and watch your back.